Technique number 6 in the Kenpo Karate for Christ Purple Belt curriculum is for a bear hug. This one's called driving elbows, and this is a Tracy's in the Tracy school. So this isn't one you'll find in the Parker schools, generally speaking, but this is part of the Tracy curriculum here. Now I like this one because the way it has you drop your weight. If you haven't quite mastered that, when we talk about these bear hugs and really stepping to the side or stepping back, stepping away from the opponent and trying to make yourself heavy, I think this one kind of captures that idea really, really well and kind of emphasizes it. So if that's still a point of struggling, this technique I think kind of brings it out in a way that it'll make those earlier techniques better once they've learned this one. They'll kind of, okay, now I think I got that idea and should be able to perform those earlier techniques, bear hug techniques, better once they've seen driving elbows. So driving elbows is a rear bear hug and your arms are pinned, which goes all the way back to our first technique, our captured twigs, was our yellow belt version of the bear hug from behind. And so again, we're seeing that their rear bear hug and your arms are trapped here to where they can't move. And once again, we want to make ourselves heavy, right? This is the bear hug, so they can't lift us up. Now, what yellow belt showed you that this one kind of ignores is that idea of pinning their hands. And that's important because, as we discussed in captured twigs, when you step over and drop your weight, you allow the opportunity for them to slide up and choke you. That, as you see the first move here, where we're going to ignore grabbing their arms, you are putting yourself in a position where that can happen again. The way we're going to defeat that is just with speed. Again, this is purple belt. We're looking at speeding things up now as our technique and the timing of all this. So the timing of this has to make up for the fact that you're putting yourself in a dangerous position to where they can choke you here. But the first step that we're going to do with driving elbows is, since they've got you in this bear hug, we're going to make ourselves heavy, right, dropping into that kind of deep horse stance. But rather than just stepping over with the left or over with the right because they're behind you, we're going to step out with both and drop your weight down. And again, think of jumping up while you're falling down. So I'm going to lift my feet up like I'm leaping into the air, but I want to drop my hips down like I'm falling at the same time. And that will quickly explode your base into this wide position. So if they're trying to lift you up, I explode out by dropping my weight down like I'm falling, and at the same time, as if I'm jumping up, come out quickly with both my feet, right and left, just spreaded right out in front of them. Right? Now at the same time, since they've got you in this bear hug and your arms are pinned, I'm going to punch forward with both arms here. Boom. Looks very similar to how we begin our Heian forms, only we're dropping our weight at the same time as we do that. And again, this will put you in that position where they can choke you almost immediately, so you cannot stay here. This isn't a move to this position and then freeze, right? I'm going to come here, and then I'm immediately going to rise up again. And just like capture twigs, where we're kind of turning sideways, we're going to do that again, but I don't want to move to one side of the body completely here. I'm actually going to turn to one side and then shift back to the other. So where capture twig is just turned towards the right, with the cat stance, then you're going to turn towards the left. So say again, if you're still in the position of their bear hug, make them hold you in that awkward kind of way here. What it's also going to use is that idea that we saw in breaking the sword of those spinning elbows that come back into the torso. It's going to show up here with driving elbows, and we're going to use that foot stomp that we've seen in a few techniques. So all of that coming together kind of makes our technique for driving elbows. We're starting to reach a point now where we're building techniques from parts of other techniques. So you can start cross-referencing them, and that's one of the things I really like about Kenpo as a system. You take these principles and you say, okay, well, what if the attack has changed? What situations have changed here? But how can we still apply these principles and then create a new self-defense technique or scenario out of that? And that way it starts to encourage and reinforce those principles in ways that you're practicing them over and over again. Every level, starting to see these ideas come back, and the techniques start building from parts of other techniques that way. And it creates a family kind of organization and design in the Kenpo system. So again, my arms are pinned here. They've got me in the bear hug. We're driving elbows. And in one move, I'm dropping my weight fast by kind of jumping up and dropping down while I punch forward. And immediately I turn. Left hand comes high to protect the face, but immediately I'm going to turn and hard elbow strike. So you jerk them down this way as you drop your weight forward, and immediately shot back up with this spinning elbow strike. Here, boom. And then quickly I'm going to turn the elbow to the other side, that way. So the whole thing thus far is down, up, spin, and then I'm going to finish with that left stomp to the foot, there. That whole technique, that's all of driving elbows. I'm stepping on his left foot, and from here I'll full cover out. Again to 12 o'clock, getting me as far away from my opponent, moving the path of least resistance in the opposite direction. He's behind me, so I'm going to go to the front with my full cover out. So again, the whole thing, driving elbows, like your arms pinned, we punch and come up and turn an elbow. Cat stance, right cat stance. Spin to the left, left cat stance, and elbow back. Stomp the foot, full cover out. One more time, driving elbows.